Welcome to the 365 Performance Show with your host, Scott Dillon.
Hello everybody, hope you're having a good day. So today I wanted to talk about willpower. I was at the cafe this morning and one of the guys there, he heard that I released my book and then he started asking me all these questions and talking about what he's struggling with. So, the main thing he said is, man, when I was like 18 to 25, I used to kill it at the gym. I used to train all the time, and I was able to push through, I'd be doing some push-ups, and then I was felt like I wanted to stop, but then as soon as that thought came through my head, I'm like, nah, stuff that, I'm going to do another 10. He's like, I could push through all the time, and it was so easy. But now, it's like I just can't be bothered to do anything. So I asked him, why did you used to train back then? And thankfully, the guy was honest. He's like, I wanted to look good so I could hopefully pick up chicks. And to be honest, that's why most single people tend to train. But since those years ago, he's been married. He's got 2 kids, and thankfully for him and his wife and his children, that is not the main driving factor anymore. He doesn't want to pick up chicks because he's got one. He's happy, his family's great, all is well on that front. But here's what's happened, and it's happened without him even recognizing and realizing. His why has changed. It doesn't exist. In the past, when he used to train, his why was that he was wanting to find a partner. Now he's got his partner. His training is no longer to find a partner. So he needs to reconnect with his purpose for doing that. So when I consult with people, a lot of the time I ask them very simple questions and they can come across like I don't care about them. But the reason I ask the questions that might sometimes come across that way is because I know behind the answer of them is their happiness. So, I just wanted to share how the conversation went with you today. First thing I asked is, does he care about his kids? He looked at me weirdly and he said, yeah, of course I do. It's cool. And then I asked him, right now, if you're in a really, really bad situation, like life or death, there was nobody around, you're on your own, and you had the possibility of possibly losing your life in the next few hours. Who in your life would be one of those people that come first to your minds? Think about those. Try and get the names of 2 to 3 people. He's like, yeah, you're my wife and kids straight away. I'm like, cool. Now I want you to think about, just for the past year when you haven't been active, how else are you not necessarily being healthy with your life? And he began to waffle on a bit more, shared how he drinks Coke a lot of the time. He'll have heaps of bread for breakfast and lunch, and then he'll have energy, then he'll crash. He'll have energy, then he'll crash, and he'll feel sluggish. I'm like, cool. What about the fridge at home? What sort of stuff do you have there? And he waffled on. He's like, yeah, I've got some healthy things, but I've got a lot of rubbish as well. And I'm like, cool. So, I want you to think now, if you keep living that way, in another 5 years' time, if you're living this way, your children seeing all the things that you're doing, all the Coke that you're drinking, all the food that you're eating, how you don't play with them, how you don't want to play any sports with them or anything like that, how will it not only impact you, your relationship with them, but also your kids? And he began to be taken back a little bit, because it was the first time since they've been actually born that he's actually thought about it. And he began to say the superficial stuff, they might be a little bit overweight perhaps. And I'm like, cool. But then I got him to think about bigger picture, how just something simple like following what he's eating is going to impact them. And he began to recognize and realize that just simple stuff, like they might not have as much energy at school. Well, what will that mean? Well, they won't be as focused, so they won't learn as much. Well, what will happen to them if they do that? They won't do good at school, and they possibly, if that keeps up all throughout their teenage years, they might not get a good job. And I'm like, okay, cool. How else? And he's like, well, yeah, if I don't, start to get more energy, be able to look after myself, then I won't really be wanting or be motivated to actually be playing sports with them outside. I won't be motivated to do anything like that. So to be honest, I'll probably be a bit of a bad father. I'm like, okay, cool. What else? And he's like, well, just general stuff as well. Like, if I've got heaps of energy and I'm feeling really good, I'll be more motivated to help out around the house more, help my wife. I'm like, okay, cool. What does that mean? Oh, well, she'll appreciate me more, we'll have a better relationship, we'll be more connected with each other. Okay, cool. These were all his answers, yeah? Like, I didn't feed them into him, I just kept poking and prodding. But it was crazy, yeah? Because after literally under 10 minutes speaking with this guy, he had a completely different outlook. Up until when I walked into the cafe, he was just thinking, need to train, need to exercise, so I don't put on weight. But it's like, that's such the most superficial goal. It's like that tiny tip of the iceberg that you see, yeah? Every single person that walks into the gym, or not every single one, but like a good 90%, it's always, what are your goals? I want to lose weight, tone up. But it's never, ever really that. No one wants to just lose weight or tone up. There's always a bigger reason underneath it, yeah? And every single one of us, we have one. But we just never really spend the time to actually stop and think about it. I don't know what yours is. Yeah, there's been times in my life and it shifts constantly, but I always need to recheck, why am I doing this? And by me doing this, how are the people around me going to benefit? There's been times in my life when the only time I've really been training is for my clients, to lead from the front and inspire them. There's other times I've been training for my parents. There's been other times I've been training because of a little kitty called Marcus that passed away last year. There's always different whys at different times, but it's really important that you reconnect with what yours is, because without it, you're fighting a losing battle. But if you can get clear on it, you've got this whole untapped source of power and purpose behind you, and things will go to a next level. So something to think about today. If you can get some time, hopefully it's sunny, just, spend a good 10 minutes on your own. How and why does me training, living a healthy life, impact myself and those around me for the better? All this sort of stuff is what's discussed in my book as well. So if you haven't got a copy, head over to stopstopping.com.au. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please head over to the365show.com, where you can gain instant access to our 4-part video series. If you like what we're doing, please leave us a review, and also make sure you're subscribed so you get kept in the loop. And finally, if you know anyone else that could benefit from this show, please share it with them.